Welcome to Safe Money Strategies with Susan Moore-Vault, president of Moore Financial Strategies. Susan specializes in working with those over the age of 50 and is now in her 20th year as a financial services professional in Tucson. None of Susan's clients has ever lost a dime in this market. Susan is an Air Force veteran, a former detective, a mother, and a grandmother. Susan's mantra is get educated about your options so you can make informed decisions. And now, here's your host, Susan Moore-Vault.
Protecting all you have. More financial strategies.
Well, good morning, Tucson. This is Susan Moore-Vault. Thank you so much, as always, for spending this time with me so bright and early on a Saturday morning. And now we do have sunlight in the morning, and it's time to get up early and go out and walk the dog or enjoy the yard. Just go for a walk. It's just beautiful. I love this time of the year. May is absolutely my favorite month. Gosh, just to drive around and see the desert in bloom and see all the flowers and the renewal. It's just gorgeous. Hard to believe it's a desert. I remember when I was first stationed here back in 74, and I got orders. I was in the Air Force, and I got orders to come to Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. I'd never heard of Tucson. I'd heard of Phoenix, but I hadn't heard of Tucson. And I said, what's Tucson? I'm at Lackland Air Force Base, and I'm a New Yorker, right? And this big sergeant says to me, well, it's a little town in the desert surrounded by mountains. And me being an ignorant New Yorker, all I could imagine was sand and camels. I sat on the ground and started crying. I grew up on the water on Long Island, and it was just unimaginable for me to be in the desert as I imagined the desert to be, sand and camels. Well, when the plane was coming in and I looked down, and it was in May, and it was so green and it was so beautiful, I thought, I must be on the wrong plane, or this can't be the right stop. And that was in 74, and I'm still here. It's kind of addictive. It's a beautiful place. Just before it gets too hot. This is just a gorgeous time of the year. And at any rate, again, I thank you for being with me. I tend to go off on a little tangent there, so I apologize for that. My company is Moore Financial Strategies. I've been in business in Tucson for over 21 years, providing financial strategies for folks to help them prepare for their retirement or to stay comfortable in their retirement. I feel so strongly, my mantra is get educated on your options so that you can make informed decisions. Well, what makes me different from most of the other advisors out there? Well, I'm a retirement specialist. I work exclusively with pre- and post-retirees, and my emphasis is on ensuring your precious retirement dollars against loss. Can your broker do that for you? Does your broker give you any guarantees? How are you feeling about being in the market right now? How'd you feel in 2008? You know, there are so many things we can't control. Let's work on the things we can control. That's what I can do for you. I can help you have the peace of mind of knowing where your money is, that you don't have to worry about what the market is doing, and that it will never go down. It will only go up. My prime directive is to always keep your money safe and always keep your money growing. How do we do that? Well, we replace market volatility and uncertainty with principal guarantees. Let me ask you this. Has your current advisor put in place for you a solid plan to protect you when the market crashes again? Please answer that question. Are you protected when the market crashes again? Does he or she still get paid no matter what happens? Think about that. You're paying those fees, and what are you getting for it? Do you have that protection? Can you afford to risk losing like you did in 2008? Wouldn't you be winning by not losing? Think about what you lost in 2008. If I could show you a way that this would never, ever happen to you again, don't you think you should at least learn about it and see if it's the right thing for you? Do you have enough confidence in your current advisor to get a second opinion? Think about that. It could make all the difference for the rest of your life. I have information that could literally change your life forever. And I'll tell you something. If you don't know this information, it will place you in serious financial jeopardy. It's important to know what your options are. And folks, if you've only been in the market in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, then you don't understand what your options are. I'd ask you to go to my website. It's morefs.com. That's M as in Mary, OORE, F as in financial, S as in strategies.com, morefs.com. There's a bar across the top with various drop-down menus. If you go to the annuity drop-down, the first drop-down is the hidden truth about annuities. Folks, there is so much information there. You'll really, really get educated on these options and what they can do for you. You really need to know this information. Further down on the page, if you have a 401k, okay, if you're still employed, or even if you're not and you have an old 401k, please go down to the bottom of my homepage on my website, and there are 2 60-minute YouTube videos. They were investigations by Steve Croft on 60 Minutes into the hidden fees in 401ks. If you're 59 and a half or older, I can roll over your 401k into an annuity that will give you a 10% or more bonus right up front and grow it at 6 to 8% every year with a rider that will guarantee income for life. Don't you need to know about this? Don't you need to know that there's a way that you can have the safety and security of knowing that you're going to have income for the rest of your life, no matter what happens? This is important to you and to your family and to your future. Again, morefs.com. You can come in and see me. It won't cost you a dime. Sit down with me, spend an hour. We'll review what you have. I'll help you understand what your options are. Then you can make an informed decision. No fee, no charge. It's just an opportunity for you to better understand what your options are. And then if you decide you want to work with me, use our annuity products, great. If you decide you don't, that's okay too. What I do promise you is that you will know more when you leave my office than you knew when you came in. Doesn't that seem like a worthwhile opportunity? Call me now at 296-4464. That's 296-4464. And ask me any questions or set up an appointment. We're up against a break, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
More financial strategies.
Hi, it's Glenn Beck for Susan Moore Vault of More Financial Strategies. Since her days serving in the Air Force and as a detective, Susan Moore has built a reputation on integrity, honor, and service. For the last 20 years, she has been conservatively managing assets, and get this, not one of her clients has ever lost one dime. For lifetime income programs, wealth transfer, long-term care planning, IRA, 401k, rollovers, and more, let Susan give you a free financial review. Call 296-4464. That's 296-4464.
Thanks for listening to Safe Money Strategies with Susan Moore Vault. Now, do you have money sitting in CDs or a money market and it's doing nothing? You can put it to work while still having access to 100% of your funds. And you can increase your income by $3,000 to $6,000 a month if you should need long-term care assistance while making no financial commitment. For a free report, call 520-296-4464. Now, you must be in average to good health to qualify. For this free report, call 520-296-4464. That's 520-296-4464. Call Susan Moore Vault today.
More financial strategies.
Okay, we're back, folks. Besides running my practice and doing this show every week, I also write the Your Money column for Inside Tucson Business for the first Friday of every month. And I wanted to share with you the column that I wrote for this week, or for this month, rather, the first Friday of May. It's entitled, Heartburn from Our Tax System? How about the fair tax? Having just paid more taxes than I've ever paid in my life, including the dreaded alternative minimum tax, I decided to look into the alternative tax reform measures currently being considered. The U.S. tax code is over 71,600 pages as of 2010 of IRS rules and regulations. It's cumbersome, corrupt, and exploited by politicians and lobbyists. The fair tax was introduced in 1999. This nonpartisan legislation, in the House is H.R. 25, in the Senate it's S13, is a reform bill that is 133 pages long, and it would eliminate personal and corporate income taxes, capital gains taxes, self-employment taxes, estate and gift taxes, alternative minimum tax, and payroll taxes, including Social Security and Medicare. After 3 years, the IRS would be eliminated, yay, and replaced by an excise tax bureau and sales tax bureau in the Department of Treasury. Instead of our current tax system, there would be a 23% consumption tax just on new products and services. Instead of paying taxes on what we earn, we would pay taxes on what we spend. Americans would take home their entire paycheck for the first time since World War II, when Congress introduced payroll withholding and quarterly tax payments. The roots of the IRS go back to the Civil War, when President Lincoln and Congress in 1862 enacted an income tax to pay war expenses. The income tax was repealed 10 years later. Congress revived the income tax in 1894, but the Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional the following year. In 1913, the 16th Amendment was ratified. The 16th Amendment gave Congress the authority to enact an income tax. That same year, the first Form 1040 appeared after Congress levied a 1% tax on net personal income above $3,000 with a 6% surtax on incomes of more than $500,000. In 1918, during World War I, the top rate of the income tax rose to 77% to help finance the war effort. It dropped sharply in the post-war years, down to 24% in 1929, and rose again during the Depression. The current tax code is obscure, complex, corrupt, and exploited. It is long overdue for major tax reform. The fair tax untaxes the poor and provides transparency and choices. The fair tax proposal features a dollar-for-dollar revenue replacement and a prebate to all American citizens to ensure that no American pays such federal taxes up to the poverty level. This, along with several other features, is how the fair tax completely untaxes the poor, lowers the tax burden on most, while making the overall rate progressive. It's based on lifestyle spending choices rather than simply punishing those taxpayers who work for a paycheck. The fair tax plan would repeal the 16th Amendment to the Constitution, the only amendment that takes away liberty rather than granting it. There would be no tax on used goods. The amount you pay government would be transparent and your choice. With a fair tax, you are only taxed once on any good or service. If you choose to buy used goods, such as a used car, used home, used appliances, you pay no consumption tax. If, as a business owner or farmer, you buy something strictly for business purposes, not personal consumption, you pay no consumption tax. Under the current system, retail prices hide corporate taxes and compliance costs, which drive up costs for those who can least likely afford to pay. Income taxes and the cost of complying with them currently make up 20% or more of all retail prices. According to Dr. Dale Jorgensen of Harvard University, hidden income taxes are passed on to the consumer in the form of higher prices for everything you buy. Bringing jobs home. The fair tax brings jobs home. It does not burden U.S. exports the way the current system does. The fair tax removes the cost of corporate taxes and compliance costs from the cost of U.S. exports, putting U.S. exports on a level playing field with foreign competitors. Lower prices sharply increase demand for U.S. exports, thereby increasing job creation in U.S. manufacturing sectors. At home, imports are subject to the same fair tax rate as domestically produced goods. The fair tax is revenue neutral. It will pay for all current government operations, including